Have you, given any thought to what you'll do now, Steve?
No, not really. I didn't know till last night I was going to be handing in my resignation.
It is customary to give 2 weeks' notice before leaving a job.
That is so you can give your employer an opportunity to find a replacement.
Which, in this case, is unnecessary.
Well, now that there's no threat to Paige's life anymore, she doesn't need a bodyguard.
Well, I'm gonna miss you, Steve. We made quite an act together. Paige Madison and her shadow.
Well, I can't say that I'm sorry to be leaving now that you're alive and well, and it looks like you're going to stay that way.
You know, Steve, I haven't seen any signed affidavits attesting to Paige's safety.
Brian, it's over.
Paige, I do not understand how you can be so sure.
Well, I am. Zach is the last member of Tobias's gang that is trying to kill me. I know he is.
I'd like to know how Zach knew we were going to the Unicorn last night.
He probably had our phone tapped.
Well, more than likely, he just followed us there.
Very lucky that that bartender kept a gun behind the bar. He knew how to use it, too.
Yeah, very interesting. Very interesting that Mickey kept the gun behind the bar.
Interesting?
Steve, look, as long as you are at loose ends about your next job, why don't you consider staying on here?
And do what? Your father paid me very generously. I don't think I could take his money and stand around here and do nothing.
Maybe there's something you can do.
What?
Oh, regardless of what Miss Madison here says, this Tobias character is still out there.
Brian Madison, you are a skeptic and a pessimist, and I'm going to answer the phone. Madison, residence.
I'd like to speak to Miss Madison, please.
Who is this?
The bartender from the Unicorn.
Oh, hello.
Hi. You had a rough night. How you feeling?
I couldn't be better.
Yeah, I'd sure like to see for myself. I'd like to see you, Paige. Today.
Yes, I know where that is. I'll see you in a little while.
Paige, who will you see in a little while?
Oh, Mrs. Porter at Bennett's department store?
Now, who's she?
A seamstress at the store. You remember a couple of weeks ago we went there to pick out some clothes?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Well, they've done the alterations and they want me to come down for a fitting.
Why don't they just send the stuff over?
Because I don't want them to. I mean, if the alterations aren't right, then they'll have to send it back and I won't see the clothes till the snow's on the ground.
All right, now get the car.
No, you'll do no such thing. You're not my bodyguard anymore.
Look, I'm still your friend. Besides, I've got nothing else to do today.
Well, that's okay, Steve, but I'm going by myself.
Well, Paige, I'll go with you, but I've got to be at the studio in an hour.
No, Brian. Look, I'm going to have to start venturing out of this house sans bodyguard. There's no time like the present.
Paige, will you please do me a favor and let Steve go with you?
No. I appreciate your concern, Brian, but I am not in danger. Okay? You have a good day. I'll see you tonight.
Steve, how are you at following people?
I don't think it's a very good idea. She found out it would make her very upset.
Good morning, everybody.
Oh, Mrs. Madison.
Good morning, Mom.
Where's Owen?
Oh, he and Eddie had a meeting in town with some lawyer, something to do with the picture.
Oh, I'm sorry to have missed him. I slept so late because I was up until practically dawn going over the script. I came up with some interesting ideas for my character I wanted to discuss with him.
He said they'd be home by noon.
I want to wish you all the luck in the world on your new project, Mrs. Madison.
Thank you.
If you'll all excuse me, I have some packing to do.
Oh, Brian, I haven't felt so marvelous in years.
I'm really happy for you, Mom.
I've heard second-rate acting students sound more convincing than that.
Don't mind me.
Brian, your mother is about to resurrect her career, and your father is going to produce his first theatrical release in 5 years. What's it going to take to put a smile on your face?
I'm just concerned about Paige.
Oh, she's going to be perfect in the role of the cousin.
Yeah, if she ever gets to go in front of the cameras.
Why shouldn't she?
Mom, right now Paige is upstairs, getting ready to go shopping downtown by herself.
Darling, last night Paige assured me that the danger is past, and I'm sure Steve wouldn't let her go out alone unless he felt the same way.
And what happens if they're both wrong?
You've appointed yourself a one-man worrying committee for Paige?
Mom, you know that I'm very concerned about Paige's well-being. And I don't just mean about these threats on her life.
I don't follow you.
All right? Last night, Dad and I had another father-son chat about the situation.
Oh. Look, why can't you simply forget about that?
Mom, when I walked out of the house 3 years ago, I was very much in love with Paige.
I know you were hurt, darling.
Of course, no one bothered to tell me that I wasn't allowed to be in love with Paige because my stepsister was my real sister.
Well, we never said anything because Owen and I weren't sure how you'd react to learn that Owen is your natural father as well as Paige's.
Guess I didn't take the news too well, did I?
Darling, this is all in the past. Paige is your sister. You simply can't think about her as you did 3 years ago.
Well, that's one of the reasons why it's very hard for me to stay around here now, Mom. Because I know the truth, and Paige doesn't. Every time I see her, I want to tell her.
Well, you can't.
Isn't it about time she knew?
Your father would never permit it. Look, maybe this charade has been carried on much too long. But stirring up the old ashes would only cause a lot of pain for all of us, especially now. This movie project is going to bring us so much closer together as a family. Things are going so well now. The truth could ruin everything.
I thought the truth set people free.
Telling Paige the truth would serve no purpose. Look, whatever feeling she had for you of that sort, that schoolgirl crush is in the past. She has Steve now.
Mom, that romance exists only in your mind.
Oh, no. No.
Mother, as of today, Steve's job here is finished and he will be leaving the house. Probably Paige will never see him again.
You're wrong, Brian.
Mother, Paige and Steve are not lovers and they never have been. Now, I don't want to hear any more about it.
Brian.
No!
Excuse me.
Well, I just notified the suppliers to cancel our next delivery.
Yeah, I figured I'd pack some of these glasses away so they won't collect dust. Less to clean when we reopen.
Yeah, Mickey, do me a favor and call those people who made reservations and tell them we'll be closing down temporarily.
Well, how long you figure on closing?
Well, I think a week will be sufficient.
If we stayed open, we'd do a hell of a business. People wanting to see the bullet hole.
Don't worry about it. This time next week it'll be old news and we can reopen in peace. The sooner I forget about this, the better.
You were really shaken up last night.
I hate violence, Mickey. I can imagine how you must have felt. You killed a man.
I'm still kind of numb, I guess. I don't know, you yelled and I reacted and went for my gun.
Well, I guess if you'd had time to think, you would have reacted differently.
What do you mean?
No, I mean, you not only saved Miss Madison's life, but that of Steve Guthrie as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Save the neck of the creep that killed my brother.
I'm sorry I brought it up. Well, I hope you'll use the upcoming week to rest and relax completely. Will you be going anywhere?
I really don't know. Time off was sort of unexpected.
Oh, it's a forced vacation, Mickey. As such, you'll be paid in full for the whole week.
That's very generous of you, Mr. Dorn. Do you have any special plans for the week?
You know, aside from my weekend at Palace Park, I haven't been away from this place since I started it. I just want to lie in the sun and relax for a couple of days.
I'm sure Mrs. Dorn will be very happy about the time you get to spend together.
I'm afraid Margot's schedule won't permit her the leisure to take time off.
Gee, that's too bad.
Yes, it's a pity that newlyweds have to go on separate vacations. I guess I'll just have to find another way to amuse myself. I'll take that, Mickey. I'll take it in my office. Hello?
Hello, my poor baby. How are you?
Raven, how you doing?
Well, I'm fine, but you must be a bundle of nerves after last night.
It was an unsettling experience.
Well, I was so worried about you because if that man had shot you and not the other guy, what would I have done?
I can assure you I'm intact.
Good, good. Aren't you going to ask me how I feel?
Raven, how are you feeling?
Awful. I feel like I'm going to die.
Really? What seems to be the problem?
Remember the other night I told you I was coming down with something?
Yes, and Dr. Dorn offered to make a house call.
Well, Dr. Dorn, I have a stomach ache and chills, and I think I have a fever of 105.
Oh, that really sounds serious.
Well, it is serious, and my husband is going to walk in this door any time now and want to take me on this campaign tour. And, you know, I really hate to disappoint him, but I think I'm going to be too sick to go.
Well, there's not much we can do if you're lying in bed.
No, I think the best thing is to just stay in Monticello and get plenty of bed rest.
Well, I sure appreciate your squeezing me in this morning.
You're early. Putting in a full day's work already. Hey, look, you didn't have to come by here to pick up these papers. I would have been more than glad to drop them off at your office.
That's okay. As long as you got the paperwork done this early, I want to keep the ball rolling.
You weren't kidding when you said you wanted to take care of this as soon as possible.
That I do.
Where the hell are they? Here they are. Look, when both parties agree, Logan, nothing to it.
Yeah, well, I'm going to feel a lot better when the law recognizes Jamie as my son. James Jameson Swift has such a nice ring to it.
Jamie already has your name, Logan. This paperwork is just a formality.
It's a formality I want done.
All right. Just make sure Raven signs right here on the dotted line and get it notarized. Return it to me and I'll give it to the judge, and then Jamie is yours legally.
Terrific. I really appreciate this.
I'm just glad that Raven was so willing to get this out of the way.
Well, you know the reason that she was so willing, don't you? Because it doesn't cost her any effort. Raven does not like effort.
Yeah, I know.
I'm sure glad she decided to come on this tour with me. I tell you, if I had to leave Jamie alone with her now, I don't think I'd relax for a minute.
I know that, Logan. That's why I didn't make a fuss when April said she wanted the kid. Don't worry. We'll take good care of him.
It's funny. He'll be better off with you two than he would with his own mother. It's a terrible thing to say, and it's true.
Look, he just likes our place. You know, the trees, the grass, the woods, the flowers.
I don't blame him there. You own a very nice place.
Unfortunately, I don't own that much of it.
Draper, you know, that's all over and done with now. And if you keep brooding about it, all you're going to do is give yourself an ulcer.
I'm past the brooding stage, Logan. I'm at the get-even part.
Pay Margot back, right?
Every nickel.
Don't you think it's going to be a bit of a burden carrying a full mortgage and a $35,000 loan?
Yeah, we're going to have to cut back on some things.
Yeah, like food.
Look, Logan, I don't want to owe Margot anything, and I don't care how much or how long it takes. I'm going to pay back every cent.
Is this my copy?
Yeah, the checks.
Look, I got a plane to catch. You mind if I use your phone, call Raven, let her know I'm on my way?
No, hook yourself. I'm going to finish my conversation with Mike.
Okey-doke.
You can leave the dime on this.
Thank you so much. See you in a sec.
Okay.
Hello?
Oh, hi, hon. Listen, I'm on my way. Put the bags by the door, and I'll be there in 15 minutes.
Oh, okay, but could you stop at the drugstore and get something for me?
What else do you need? You've been packing for 3 days.
I know, I need some aspirin, honey. I don't feel very good.
Well, all that's left to do is put a gone fishing sign on the door, and that's it.
Well, I want to check the supply room and take care of those reservations. Why don't you go ahead? I'll close up.
Well, I am rather anxious to start the vacation.
Yeah, well, why don't you give me a number who I can reach you in case anything comes up?
No. I don't want to see, hear, think, or feel about the unicorn in the next week. You'll take care of anything that comes up.
Yeah, you can count on me.
Okay, have a nice weekend.
Yeah, you have a great time, Mr.
Bye, thank you.
Toby?
Paige, are you alone?
Don't worry. The place isn't surrounded. Nobody's gonna get on a bullhorn and tell you to come out with your hands up.
I still have to be very careful.
Yeah. You told me Zach was the last threat to my life. You know how long it's been since I've been able to walk down the street without looking over my shoulder?
I feel lousy about last night. That creep Zach must have been tailing me, hoping that I would lead him to you.
Toby, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have been able to walk out of here last night. You saved my life.
I told you I came to Monticello to keep my eye on you.
Once the smoke cleared last night, do you know what I wanted to do? I wanted to stand up and point to you and say, see that man who saved my life? He's Tobias.
Well, I'm glad you thought better of that.
I wanted Steve and the police and everybody to have an eyewitness account that you were telling the truth. That you were trying to help me and you had nothing to do with those attempts on my life.
Oh, Paige. Even if the police believed you, they're not going to think of me exactly as a Boy Scout. I mean, I'm still wanted for the break-in on the arms depot. For lifting those rifles and trying to give them to those guerrilla fighters.
You were just trying to help those poor people.
That's what's important to me, Paige. That you still believe in me.
I never doubted you, Toby.
Hey, is that the way you kiss somebody who just saved your life?
I guess my nerves are a little on edge.
No. No, I don't think that's it at all.
I'm sorry, Toby.
You know, I always suspected there was someone else. Even when we were together. You were always thinking about someone else.
I don't want to discuss this.
No, you never want to discuss it. Well, I've got nothing to hide, Paige. It's no big secret how I feel about you.
Raven, I'm home.
I'm in the bedroom.
What are you doing? We're supposed to be leaving soon.
Oh, Logan, I just don't even have the strength to go to the closet and get a dress. I feel terrible.
All right, what's the matter?
Remember, I told you I was coming down with something at April's?
Yeah, I thought that was your hay fever acting up.
No, I got a bug. I just feel achy all over. I want to die.
Yeah, well, before we make the funeral arrangements, have you managed to take your temperature?
I didn't want to know what it would be.
I'll get the thermometer. By the way, I stopped in at Draper's office on the way over here and picked up the paperwork for Jamie's adoption.
Was that necessary? Look, you're my husband. That means you're Jamie's father.
Yeah, well, I just want it nice and legal.
Well, do we have to do that now?
It's no big deal. You sign the paper, I get it notarized, I take it to a judge, and he signs it, then Jamie is legally my little boy. I wish we could get it done before we have to go, and it is the first item on the agenda when we get back from this tour. Hope you're going to be well enough to go on a trip.
I want to see the paper.
I can't understand you, and you can't talk and have the thermometer work at the same time.
I want to see the...
Why, right. We could play charades. How many words? I don't want to... You can read the papers on the plane.
Logan, please.
Okay.
I want to
All right. All right. Put it back in your mouth. Keep your mouth closed. Okay, here we go. This first page is the only thing that really concerns you, and that's where you sign. We can take a look at the thermometer now.
Here, you read this.
Okay.
Oh, honey, I can't understand a word this says. You're just
Raven,
going to have to explain
You've
it.
got a fever of 102.
Well, if it's 103, let's sell.
Well, that's not funny. You're really sick. I better call Dr. Lacey.
Oh, wait a minute now.
You're
I
too
just
sick
have a
to
virus.
travel, too. I'm going to have to cancel the whole tour.
No, wait, why?
Because I can't leave you alone like this. I got to take care of you.
What are you going to do? Bring me orange juice and change the television channels? You got to go
I
on that
will
tour.
issue a press release that says the candidate is at the side of his stricken wife. I'll look like Mr. Domestic, and the voters will love me.
Logan, the voters want to see and hear you. Now, you just let me lie here and rest for a couple of days, and I'll join you later, okay?
You sure? I mean, being sick and alone is the pits.
No, I don't want you to change your plans. You go.
I don't know.
Come on, come on. I don't want you to lose votes because of me. You go, you go. It's your career.
I've seen that gun before.
What's on your mind, Steve?
Mickey Dial's gun, that's what.
That gun saved your life. No matter what you think of Dials, he saved you and your client from an assassin.
Yeah, he helped. I know that.
With a bullet right through the heart. It's ironic, isn't it? Blames you for the death of his kid brother, but when the chips are down, he shoots the man that wanted to shoot you.
Zach was trying to kill Paige, not me.
Same difference, Steve. They would have had to get the bodyguard first.
What do you know about the gun, Chief?
Well, we checked it out. Dials had a permit for it. He got it several months ago. Said he needed it for personal protection, so there was no way it could be denied him.
No, I mean about the gun itself. Did you check the serial number, or do you know its history?
Up to a point.
What do you mean by that?
We found out who the previous owner was. Matter of fact, I have it right here in the report. The previous owner was a man named Barry Lyons. Seems he owns a liquor store. Needed the gun for protection, so he got a license for it. But the liquor store was robbed, Steve. This gun was one of the items that was taken.
Wait a minute, are you telling me that this is a stolen gun?
That's right. But that doesn't necessarily mean that Dials is the one that stole it. Dials claimed that he got this gun from a man by the name of Jones, who came into the Unicorn one night. But there's no bill of sale, no receipt.
Then that makes it all the more likely.
What do you mean?
Chief, you know what I think about this gun? I think I've seen this gun before.
What?
I think that this is the gun that Joey Dials aimed at me the day I shot him. I got this sudden jolt in my mind when I saw this gun at the Unicorn. Well, I know a lot of guns look alike, and the gun that Joey Dials was carrying, the toy gun, looked very much like the real thing.
But we know that gun was a toy.
Yes, I know. I still got the damn thing as a souvenir. But I'm telling you something, Chief. This is the gun that Joey Dials turned on me the day I was trying to stop him.
Then how did the toy gun get into the picture?
I don't know. Somebody must have put it there.
What?
That's it. Somebody must have switched it.
But how could that be? You were there, Steve.
Yes, but I wasn't there all the time. Neither was Deborah. She was trying to catch this other kid, his partner in the crime. Now, after I shot Joey, he fell. Then I heard Deborah cry out.
That's right. And you ran to help her.
Yeah, and it took us several minutes to subdue the second kid. Now, during these several minutes, Joey Dial was lying on the ground with a gun alongside of him. Now, somebody in the vicinity could have come along and made the switch.
Steve, are you saying that that somebody is his brother?
Mickey was only a few feet away. He was on a fire escape. He saw Joey running down the street with us chasing him. He saw everything.
We have that in his statement, that he was on the fire escape.
He could have taken the toy gun out of the apartment, down the stairs, and made the switch. I mean, how would it look, a 14-year-old kid carrying a gun? This gun. Things would have been a lot worse on him if his case had gone to court.
But Joey was dead.
Yeah, but Mickey didn't know that. He did the only thing he could do to protect his brother. He switched the damn guns.
Steve, if we can prove this, it's not going to be easy.
No. We have no eyewitnesses.
Maybe you want to try to get Dials down here to headquarters.
Maybe I ought to go see Dials myself. I'll talk to you later, Chief.
Right.
Nope, something is wrong. Something is definitely wrong. I know what it is. You don't look like you're going fishing. You ought to have one of those funny little hats with all the hooks in them.
The guide will provide everything, Margot. All I have to do is be there. But just don't expect me to bring back a whole batch of fish. It's been years since I dropped a line in water.
Oh, don't worry about that, darling. One thing I don't want you to do is bring a whole bucket full of those slimy things for me to put into the freezer. I wouldn't know what to do with them. I don't think Jenny would either.
So why am I going? Let's just hope I catch something besides a cold, huh?
Oh, you better not catch a cold. You better take good care of yourself, as they say. Button up your overcoat. You belong to me. Oh, darling, I'm going to miss you.
I'm going to miss you.
Oh, well, this is a surprise, April.
Yes, perfect timing. One member of the family leaves, another one arrives. Where'd you get that, April?
This is Jamie, the future district attorney of Monticello.
Oh, isn't he precious? I'm so glad you brought him over. Do you suppose he'd mind if I held him for a minute?
Oh, he might, but I won't. Oh, he weighs a ton.
What you mean?
I had no other choice but to bring him over here. A babysitter can't exactly find assistant babysitters now, can she?
I had an idea. I have an assistant babysitter. I told Jenny about this little fellow, and I know she'd love to meet him. Do you mind if I introduce them?
Please, go ahead.
We shall return, right, Jamie? Come.
So you're babysitting for Raven and Logan, huh?
Yeah, I am. I rather like it. I enjoy being with Jamie.
Oh. Well, much as I'd like to be part of this domestic bliss, I think I've got to be leaving. I want to try and reach the lodge before night. Margot!
What lodge?
I'm going fishing, April.
Oh, what about the unicorn? Who's minding the store?
The store's going to be closed for the rest of the week. Didn't you hear about last night?
Yes, of course I did. Shooting, was there any damage?
Not really. We're closing down to give people a chance to forget.
Yes, I suggested that he take a few days off just to relax. I thought it'd be a good opportunity.
You're not going with him?
Oh, darling, how can I go with him? I can't very well close up the studio, especially when my #1 assistant chooses to take care of that darling little boy instead, who has been kidnapped, by the way, by Jenny. She's stuffing him full of milk and cookies. Oh, he's such an adorable little boy.
I know.
Okay, Margot, I think it's time for you to say goodbye to your little boy. Come on.
Goodbye, little boy. Take care of yourself. Come on.
Bye, April.
I want you to call me the minute you get there, so I'll be sure you're all right, darling.
I will.
You have a wonderful time, and I love you.
And I love you.
April? Hey, is anything wrong?
Margot, I think you're wrong.
What?
I'm sorry. Look, it's none of my business, and I know I have no right to say it, but I can't help but feel that you are making a terrible mistake with Elliot. Look, I know we talked about it once before. I mean, about sharing things together and doing things together.
Yeah, I know. We talked about it.
Margot, hasn't it ever occurred to you that if you let Elliot go off by himself, that he just might not be doing what he says he's going to do?
Go on.
Well, do I have to finish it?
That's all right. Please, go on.
All right. Elliot is a handsome man. I'm sure there must be temptations.
Oh, you mean other women? It's all right, darling, I know.
What?
Oh, April. I know.
Margot? Margot, are you saying that you know Elliot is seeing someone else?
I didn't say that.
It certainly sounded like it.
I don't mean any particular woman, darling. Quite frankly, I wouldn't want to know.
But you do think that he's seeing another woman?
Oh, come on, darling, I can't be naive about this. I mean, that's one of the risks one runs when you marry someone younger than yourself. Look, Elliot and I have always been very rational from the first moment we talked about that.
It's a word I hate, you know. Rational and civilized. When one is talking about love, marriage.
Didn't realize we were talking about love.
But you do love Elliot. You told me you did.
Oh, well, that's my misfortune, isn't it?
Come on, Margot. There's no reason for you to have to take this.
No, really, darling, please. I've lived a few years longer than you have, you know. I've had a few more relationships like this than you. Well, not exactly like this. Who was it, Tolstoy, that said all happy marriages are exactly alike and all unhappy marriages are quite different in their own way? I mean, I'm not saying that Elliot and I are unhappy. We're not. We've made a beautiful adjustment to each other.
Adjustment, that's another word I hate.
Darling, you know your problem. Your problem is you think the world is very neat and orderly, and the heart is shaped just like a valentine, but it's not true. The world is a mess, and the heart is a muscle.
Margot, you're wrong. The heart isn't even a part of the body. It's part of the soul.
April, please stop it. I can't fool myself on this one issue. I cannot be naive about Elliot. I have to face the fact that he is going to stray. And I can't hold a tight leash on him, because if I hold a tight leash on him, he might break it, and if he breaks it, that'll break my heart, or whatever you want to call it.
Oh, God, that's sad. Guess I'm lucky, though, you know. I mean, I don't have to worry about something like that with my husband.
No, you and Draper are quite a different cup of tea. Speaking of which, would you like one?
Tea?
Yeah.
Could use a drink. Got some wine.
That's a great idea. As a matter of fact, I think I will join you. Well, how is my darling Draper?
Tired. Very, very tired. Preoccupied.
Sorry to hear that.
He is very determined to earn a lot of money to pay you back the $35,000.
That is very foolish. There, you see, your husband has one negative trait. Pride. Foolish, foolish pride.
Well, I've thought a lot about it, and I'm not so sure that Draper isn't right.
About what?
Well, Margot, I think I was wrong. I think we were both wrong in keeping from Draper the fact that you put up the $35,000. Of course, at the time, I thought it was the only thing to do, that there was no way that Draper would have accepted that kind of a gift.
Darling, it was the only thing to do, because there would have been no house otherwise.
Margot, I think we should have taken our chances. I believe now that we should have discussed it openly with Draper. There's a chance, a very slight chance, that he might have accepted it if he knew how much it meant to me.
Now, you're being naive. He never would have accepted the money, period.
He might have, as a loan.
Oh.
Margot, that's what he considers it now, a loan. The difference is he'd be a lot less bitter. A lot less bitter about feeling he was deceived. And it's not right to deceive people.
It can be. I mean, if it's for the person's good.
No, it's not right for Draper. And it's not right for me. I mean, I'm upset that I deceived myself into believing that it was for my own good. Look, maybe I just better go check on Jamie.
April, maybe I want to talk to you about something about Draper's job offer.
What about it?
About David Henson. Darling, I feel just awful, but I should have called him. I should have called him. I should have called him and told him that Draper is such a wonderful attorney. And maybe it wouldn't have done any good, but at least I would have tried.
Margot, it's all right, really. Besides, it doesn't even matter now.
Mr. Ebner, please report to the information desk.
Ah, it's too bad about Raven. She must be really sick to miss a glamorous trip like this. 15 hick towns and 5 glorious days. Maybe that's why she got sick. You know, just the thought of 5 days of greasy chicken dinners.
It's real nice of you to see me off. It's very encouraging.
Hey, you're the candidate. You're supposed to love all this. You're supposed to love all the hash houses and the Chamber of Commerce dinners and the sleazy hotels.
Flight 201.
Your plane's gonna leave any minute now. Where's the rest of the staff?
They're already in Center City. I took a later plane because of Raven.
Oh, what you got anyway?
I don't know. Some kind of flu. She had a fever of 102 when I took her temperature.
It's too bad. I had a company on your trip, but you left me in charge of the whole office.
Just do me one favor. Now, don't spend the whole week in the swivel chair playing Let's Pretend.
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm on your side. Look, if you don't win this election, Fat Freddy's going to be in that swivel chair, not me. Hell, I'll be the first one to lose my job if you don't win.
I think you're going to land on your feet regardless. No matter how this campaign comes out, you're going to be okay.
No. If there's one thing I am, it's loyal. You gave me that job, and if you lose this election, I'll walk right out of that office.
No.
Unless, of course, Fat Freddy twists my arm to stay.
That's what I thought. Well, look who's here. Hello, Geraldine.
I'm so glad I got here before your flight left.
You came all this way just to see me.
I most certainly did. I told Raven I would if I got the chance.
Mrs. Saxon. You're looking lovelier today than when we first met in Logan's office.
You remember my associate, Cliff Nelson?
Oh, yeah. How do you do?
Very well, thank you, now that you're here. I spotted you as soon as you walked in the airport. Of course, everybody in Monticello knows you. I bet everybody in Washington knows you, too. Although you haven't been there for quite a while.
No, not in some time. In any case, I told Raven that I would... Where is Raven?
He's home in bed, unfortunately.
What?
Oh, Mrs. Saxon, maybe you ought to take her place on this trip. I bet you those Hicks upstate would really flip if they knew that the famous Geraldine Saxon was on the speaker's platform.
Well, for heaven's sake, what's the matter? Is she ill?
She's got a high fever. I told her to call a doctor if she's feeling any worse, but you know how stubborn Raven is about things like that.
Logan, I'm so sorry to hear about this.
Mrs. Saxon, I've been an admirer of yours for quite some time now. In my opinion, your family is at least the second most influential political family in the country.
Yes. Well, for heaven's sake, it seems to me there must be something I can do. What about the baby?
No, Jamie's fine. He's over at the Scotts. There's just nobody to take care of Raven. That's what concerns me.
I think I should call her.
Oh, maybe I can help in some small
Cliff,
way.
please.
No, I think it would be better if I went over there to see her.
That's
Would you like that?
What I was going to suggest. Let me give you the key to the apartment just in case she's asleep and doesn't hear the doorbell.
Logan, what an awful time for her to get sick.
No.
I hope this isn't going to interfere now with this campaign tour.
I have an idea. Why don't I take Logan's place on this tour, and that way you can go home and take care of Raven?
Well, what would you do in all those hick towns?
Well, for you, boss, I'd make the sacrifice. Besides, I love greasy chicken dinners.
Logan, you worry about the campaign. I'll take care of Raven.
Thank you so much. I'll call you as soon as I get there. Bye, Cliff.
Bye, boss.
Hello, Mickey.
What the hell do you want, Guthrie? What, did you come over here to thank me for saving your life? Forget it. It was an accident.
Well, I really didn't think you cared whether I got shot or not. But in case you didn't remember me saying it last night, thank you.
You're not welcome.
Had another reason for dropping by. I was down at headquarters. Chief Marceau wanted me to bring back your gun.
Great. You just put it right in the case.
Aren't you going to keep it behind the bar anymore?
The place is going to be closed.
Closed?
Yeah. Mr. Dorn figures we should close for a while till this cools off. Still smells like gunpowder. You notice?
Yeah, you're quite a shot. Must be quite a marksman.
Think I ought to try out for the cops?
Oh, by the way, where'd you get the gun?
I already told the cops where I got it. I bought it.
Oh, that's right. Chief Marceau, you said you got it from a man named Jones.
That's right. I don't care what the guy's name was. The price was right.
How much you pay for it?
Oh, Guthrie, I don't have to answer any questions from you. You're not a cop anymore. You remember?
Yeah, I remember. I remember why I quit, too. Public uproar, because I shot a 14-year-old kid carrying a toy gun.
I'm glad you still remember what you did.
I think my memory isn't so good, though.
Meaning what?
Meaning that gun of yours. It looks very familiar.
Excuse me. I gotta lock up.
Tell me something, Mickey. Did you buy the gun or did Joy?
The Unicorn is now officially closed. I'm on vacation, so why don't you just get the hell out of here,
Let me
Guthrie?
ask you another question, Mickey. How come Joy kept a toy gun? He was a 14-year-old teenager.
He was real attached to it.
Is that why you switched it? With the real one he was carrying?
You know, it's really a damn shame that I'm such a good shot.
What's the trouble?
I don't like being here. It's, it's your bedroom.
You've never been in another woman's bed before?
You know, we should have gone to that motel. Oh, as tacky as it was, at least we could have been on our own.
We are on our own, and it's very safe and very comfortable. And besides, it's very practical.
How come?
Because I'm supposed to be very ill with a raging fever. And as soon as my husband gets to the first tacky hotel on this campaign tour, he's going to call me up and want to know how I am.
Oh, I see. So the sick, dutiful wife has to answer the phone, right?
That's right. It's the way it has to be.
You weren't quite as ingenious as I. I told Margaret I was going up to this fishing lodge that didn't even have a phone.
Well, you're a man. You can give an excuse like that. I can't. And besides, I think you ought to congratulate me on my excuse. Did I tell you about my temperature?
What about it?
Logan wanted to know my temperature, so I took the thermometer when he wasn't looking and stuck it in a cup of hot tea.
Raven, you're a very naughty girl.
Yes, I am a very naughty girl. And I have a very high fever.
You seem to have made a remarkable recovery. Earlier today, you were in the throes of a very nasty virus.
Yes, well, a couple of hours in bed with you. You have the magic cure.
I only wish you'd thought of a different arrangement. I mean, I don't mind being with another man's wife, but to be in that man's very own bed is a bit awkward, you know.
That's funny. You haven't acted like it bothered you. I thought it was perfect.
Well, I suppose you would.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, a lot of women like the excitement of all the sneaking around in their affairs. That is why I thought me being here would give you quite a thrill.
I'm not lying here to be psychoanalyzed.
What's that?
I got somebody's here.
I thought he said Logan was in Center City.
He is. At least he's supposed to be.
Raven, it's Geraldine. Are you in there?
What am I going to do?
Answering the lady would be a start.
Geraldine, what are you doing here?
I came to see how you were feeling. Are you all right?
How'd you get in?
Well, my dear, I didn't pick the lock. Logan gave me a key.
Did he send you to check up on me?
Yes, he did. I went to see him off at the airport. He told me you weren't feeling well and that you were unable to make the trip.
Look, all sick people need is a little quiet and rest.
Can't I do any shopping for you? Bring you anything?
No, will you just go away? Don't believe this. I'll try to get rid of her.
Raven, you didn't have to get out of bed. I could have come in for you.
No, the place was a mess. I didn't want you to see it. Besides, it's so full of germs, I didn't want you to catch anything.
Well, that's very thoughtful of you.
Look, I'm sorry, but I'm just all stuffed up and I don't feel very well. In fact, I'm in a rotten mood.
I'd say you look remarkably well, wearing makeup.
Well, I had to put something on. I look so pale.
Did you have anything to eat?
No, I don't have an appetite.
Well, I think I should fix you something light, maybe just toast and eggs.
No, look,
Really,
Geraldine, I
or
don't
some-
need anything. All I really want to do is just go back to bed.
What is this doing here?
Logan and I were drinking that. We were just celebrating his first campaign tour.
This bottle is still chilled.
Is it?
Ah, still not tidying up after Logan, I see.
Geraldine, I told you I don't feel very well.
This doesn't look like one of Logan's coats.
Well, it is.
Raven, is there something burning in your bedroom?
No, Geraldine, you can't go in there.
Oh, my God.
Good evening, Mr. Saxon. I thought it would be gauche of me to hide in the closet.
I rather wish you had.
Geraldine, look, you don't understand.
No, you're wrong, Raven. I understand perfectly.
So what are you gonna do? Go run and call Logan so he can come here and throw his wife out the window?
I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Well, I'll tell you what you can do. You can mind your own damn business. Look, don't ruin my marriage. Please don't tell Logan.
No. I'm not going to tell Logan. It would break his heart. And I'm not going to be the one to inflict that kind of pain on Logan.
You're a very kind woman.
Do I have your word? Because if you say one word to him, your precious little family of me and Jamie and Logan and you is finished. Do you understand that? If I lose my husband, Jamie loses his grandmother. If you say one word, you will never see your precious little boy again.
You could have been a bit gentle with her.
She had no right to come barge in on us like that.
I knew it was a bad idea for us to meet here.
Look, I don't want to listen to a broken record. Did you see the look on her face when she saw you sitting in...
I thought she was going to have a stroke. I knew I shouldn't have let you talk me into coming here.
Oh, stop it. You're depressing me. I think that it's hilarious.
April, I'm home.
Yeah, I'm over here. Come on in. About time. Draper? Yeah, well, I was afraid I might not recognize her. I mean, it's been a long time since I've
very
seen her.
funny.
Hi.
I told you it was going to be a long day.
Yes, well, no one can ever accuse you of stretching the truth.
Supper ready, I'm starved.
2 hours ago, have a seat.
How's the kid?
Oh, Jamie
Yeah.
is just fine. He's absolutely adorable. We, watch, it's a little hot. We, Missy built a castle with his building blocks, and then we took a long walk to the park, and we went to visit my mother, business, and then the two of us took a nice long nap.
Well, I wish I could have been here for the nap anyway.
Yeah, well, come on, you have to admit it was really nice of Margot to give me some free time so I could watch Jamie. You know, I was almost sorry to put him to bed. As much as I love my job at MON, I have to admit it's kind of fun playing mommy and playing with a little baby. How was your day?
Well, first thing this morning, Logan came by and picked up Jamie's adoption papers.
Good. I think it's about time that Logan be recognized as Jamie's legal father, considering he is his natural father.
Well, as soon as Raven signs the papers, that's going to be straightened out.
You went to court today, too, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. I talked to Mr. What's his name? Mr. Powers about his negligence suit. And then I went back to my office and prepared my calendar for tomorrow.
Draper, you're taking on too much.
Well, the way it looks now, it's not going to get any better tomorrow either.
Honey, look, you can't keep up this pace indefinitely. You're putting in too many hours. You're taking on too much work.
Let's go through this again, all right? I told you before. The average person who needs legal help...
Cannot afford it.
Right. So in order to get more money, I've got to have more clients. Simple as that.
Draper, we're both making very decent salaries. We're not starving. Well, who says we need a lot of money?
I see. And you know why.
Draper, I have already told you I admitted what I did was wrong, and the only reason Margot did what she did was to see that we had a nice home.
April, this is not my home. I mean, I get very little pleasure out of living here. I'm not going to get any until I give Margot her $35,000 back.
I understand that. There is something you could give Margot right now that would mean a lot more to her than a personal check.
I'll tell you what I'd like to give Margot, but I'd probably be arrested
Oh,
for
come
it.
on, cut it out. I'm serious. Draper, all you have to do is give Margot a little kindness, a little understanding. Draper, all Margot wants from you is that you like her.
So you want me to like Margot? April, why don't you ask me to do something easy, like ski down Mount Everest?
Oh, come on. I'm not asking all that much.
By the time I'm able to like Margot, I'll probably be able to pay her $70,000.
Draper, Margot doesn't want our money.
But it's Margot's attitude that her money can buy anything, including affection. Well, hell, April, you're a prime example of that. Look what she's done. She takes care of your every want. April wants a house. Margot buys April a house. April wants a job. Margot gets April a job. And look at your salary. I think that Margot doesn't feel good enough to believe that people can, care about her for herself. I mean, that's why she goes to all that trouble. Gives these gestures to make sure people love her. And yeah, her money can buy things, but it can't buy my feelings, my affection. And the sooner she learns that, the better off we're all going to be.
But, Draper, I don't believe Margot means any harm.
But she is harmful, April. I mean, the way she goes about trying to get love, I mean, it's dangerous.
Strong word.
Yeah, it is. But considering the lengths that she goes to, I think it fits.
I told Draper that he can't keep working at that kind of pace, but I don't think he's in the mood to listen to a voice of reason right now.
Well, ever since Seward, Paxton, and Whiteside withdrew their offer, he's been burying himself in his work, hasn't he?
I suppose he's trying to prove that they made a mistake in rescinding that job offer by taking every case that comes along.
Honey, I should think that Draper is confident enough to know that he's really a very good attorney.
Oh, sure, but being rejected is a big disappointment. So if he wants to bury himself in his work for a while to ease the pain, I'm not going to stop him.
Would you like a drink? I think I do.
Good idea.
Oh, Mike, you know, you might keep an eye on him. It wouldn't do any good for his health to suffer.
Oh, I'm not going to let it go that far. The minute I see any change in the quality of his work, we'll have a nice, long chat. I don't want his reputation to suffer.
Really, Mike, I wish that this whole business with that law firm never, ever happened, because it's been more trouble than it's worth.
Well, I agree with you, Nancy, but I don't think we've heard the last of Seward, Paxton, and Whiteside. Matter of fact, I received a letter from Philip Seward today. Kind of a strange letter at that.
Really? What does it say?
Well, he's going to be in Monticello, and he wants to see me.
Oh, another little expedition to offer you a senior partnership again?
I already turned that down once. He knows that.
Yes, but now that they've decided against Draper, if the offer is still there, do you think that they might open negotiations with you again?
No, Seward's letter suggests the topic of conversation is going to be Draper.
Well, honey, when you do see him, would you please give him my 2 cents worth?
Oh, what would you like me to tell him?
I think it was very insensitive of them to turn Draper down without giving him any reason whatsoever for their change of heart.
Well, I'm not going to have to broach that topic with Seward, Nancy. That's why he's coming to see me.
Oh?
Seward was a big supporter of Draper's, and he was very disappointed when Draper wasn't hired. He doesn't like the way the situation was handled.
I see.
He has a theory about why the firm turned down Draper. And from what his letter implies, an unhappy theory at that.
Mike, maybe one of the other partners had a candidate and Draper just became the victim of internal politics?
Nancy, listen to a part of this letter. I want to assure you that at no time was any attempt on our part made to mislead Mr. Scott. Whatever indications I may have given Draper that the position was his were, to the best of my knowledge, accurate. I thought he was the logical choice to head up our criminal law division. When Draper and April visited us in New York, my opinion was reconfirmed by my partners. Draper made a wonderful impression, and the official job offer seemed to be a mere formality until Mr. David Henson had his day in court, as it were.
Henson. Isn't that the partner who was in the hospital at the time of Draper's visit?
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't even know Draper, does he?
No, but Mr. Henson put thumbs down, and that was that.
Why, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, how can you have an opinion about someone you don't even know?
Apparently, Mr. Henson had done some checking on his own. And from what he learned about Draper, led him to believe that Draper wasn't right for the job.
Well, what kind of checking? I mean, did he talk to anybody here in Monticello?
He wouldn't reveal his sources, but the smoke began to clear a few days ago. When a New York television station approached Seward, Paxton, and Whiteside about the possibility of handling some litigation for them, Seward recommended that the firm turn the work down because they didn't have anyone qualified to handle that type of broadcast law. But then Mr. Henson volunteered that he could do it. Seems that some years ago he had handled the legal affairs of a broadcasting executive named Margot Huntington.
Who?
Seward recalled that Margot was Draper's mother-in-law.
My, what a small world, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Seward got the impression that not only was Margot a client of David Henson's, but that they were also very close friends. Seward thought that was kind of an odd connection. And frankly, Nancy, so do I.
Hello.
Good evening, madam. I am conducting a poll to see if you intend to vote for the incumbent district attorney.
Logan.
Hello, Geraldine. Hope I didn't wake you this evening.
No. I just seem to have a little trouble trying to get to sleep this evening.
Well, just think pleasant thoughts. You'll drop right off.
Where are you?
I am in Center City at the Hotel Wellington.
Ah, and how's everything on the campaign trail?
My first speech went pretty well, although the crowd could have been larger.
Well, this is a holiday week. I'm sure there are many people still on vacation.
Yeah, and it's still early in the campaign.
And how did your meetings go with the local politicians?
Everybody is very cordial, especially when I give them your personal regards. Your name still carries a lot of weight up here. Can't tell you how much I appreciate everything you've done for me.
Well, is there anything else I can do for you, Logan, now? I mean, is that why you called?
No, I just wanted to get an update on Raven. I'd have called her direct, but she seemed pretty ill when I left. I didn't want to disturb her.
That was very thoughtful.
I offered to postpone this whole trip, stay in Monticello until she was feeling better, but Raven wouldn't hear of it.
Oh, I'm sure she wouldn't.
It was very kind of you to stop by and check up on her for me.
Well, yes, she seemed quite surprised to see me.
Oh, yeah? How was she?
Better than when you left. However, she was still in bed.
She need anything?
No, I think she had everything she needed at her disposal.
You know, this is the first time we've been apart since we've been married. Sleeping alone tonight's not going to be very enjoyable.
I'm sure Raven would echo those sentiments.
Well, hopefully in a day or so she'll be feeling better. She'll be able to join me.
Yes, I certainly hope so.
Yeah, I'm sure it's just a little virus.
Well, I really have no way of knowing how long it will take to get this bug out of Raven's system.
Geraldine, is Raven really sick?
Yes, Logan. Raven, I think, is very sick. More than I'd ever realized.
What?
I'm sorry, Logan. I shouldn't have said that. I'm terribly sorry.
Geraldine, what's wrong, huh? Dean? What the hell's going on?
You know, I always thought you were a unique woman, Raven. Now I'm sure of it.
Thank you.
Oh, I didn't mean that as a compliment.
Well, then what did you mean?
I'm a bit worried about you. About your reaction when Geraldine caught us. I mean, you treated the whole thing as a joke. You seem to be unaware of the ramifications of this business. I mean, both of our marriages could be ruined. Logan could lose the election, and that would mean the end of a very cozy relationship for us.
Elliot, our marriages are not going to be ruined. Logan is not going to lose the election, and you and I are going to keep seeing each other.
Oh, you've lost touch with reality.
There's only one difference. Geraldine is going to be in on the little secret.
You mean to tell me that Mrs. Saxon is going to treat what she saw there as a figment of her imagination?
Oh, no. She knows exactly what she saw. She's just not going to say a word about it.
That prim and proper lady's not going to spill the beans?
Oh, no. She has too much to lose.
She has.
Yes. Didn't you hear that little chat I had with Geraldine? Didn't you see the look on her face when I told her if she said one word, she would never see that little boy again?
The child means a lot to her.
That child is the most important thing in her life.
Are you sure about that?
You can bank on it. I don't know what it is about that kid that makes everyone want him so much, but they do.
I don't know what it is about this little girl that makes everybody want her so much. But they do.
Chuck, you may be the campaign manager, but I am the candidate, and I am telling you to cancel tomorrow's rally. Okay, all right, fine. You read the speech because I'm not going to be there. My wife is sick, and I'm going home. Yeah, could you get me to the airport, please? I need to make a reservation for tomorrow morning, and I will be checking out at that time. Thank you.
Bud is trying to tell us something.
What time is it?
After 10.
It's so dark. It seems like the middle of the night.
It's raining.
Either that or it's the end of the world. Are you afraid of thunder?
I'm terrified.
Don't be afraid, baby. You're snug in your very own bed. So am I. The idea still makes me nervous.
Just wake me up when it's all over, okay?
Hey, the telephone will wake you up. Your husband didn't phone last night, remember? He's bound to phone this morning. Are you gonna be properly miserable when he calls?
How can I be? I don't feel miserable at all.
Passengers from United Tours, please report to Gate 17 for flight transfer information.
I'm sorry we weren't able to have a nice breakfast for you out on the patio, Uncle Eddie, but the weather made that impossible.
Oh, never mind, Paige. It was a great breakfast anyway.
Well, considering that we didn't have anyone to serve it. We used to have a maid, Eddie. But you may have heard that she didn't work out too well. We had to let her go.
Dad has a very grisly sense of humor, Eddie. It must be the weather.
Well, I think the weather is absolutely perfect, considering what we've all been talking about. Wouldn't you agree?
Right. It's just the perfect atmosphere to discuss Mansion of the Damned.
Yeah, well, the only thing that's wrong with it is that Eddie and I were supposed to go out and scout locations today.
I still think you should go out and scout locations, Daddy. How are you going to know the place is right unless you see it with lightning flashing over?
Are you really looking for a real house, Dad? One of those old, gloomy Victorian mansions?
Well, I don't have much hope for that idea. Gloomy old Victorian mansions usually have gloomy old families living in them. I don't think they're going to like the idea of us moving in with lights and cameras.
Well, maybe you can find some unoccupied house on. I mean, you know Monticello better than I do, but surely there must be some old place.
Yeah, one that has a reputation for being haunted.
Well, I don't know of any such place. I got in touch with some real estate people. Fortunately, they weren't too thrilled with the idea. They want to sell houses, not rent them out to independent movie producers.
Well, of course, the most reliable way to shoot this movie would be in a studio. Are you guys really certain that you wouldn't even consider temporarily moving back to Hollywood?
Oh, I wouldn't. Of course, my opinion doesn't count for too much. I mean, you really don't need me on this project, right?
Brian, don't say that. We need everyone in this room. This is a family venture, and don't anyone forget that. Isn't that right, Owen?
I agree with Brian. We said we'd shoot this movie in Monticello, and that's exactly what we should do.
Yeah, well, frankly, I don't think we can afford to do anything else. I don't even think we can afford to shoot Mansion of the Damned right here, if you want to know the truth.
You've got to admit that we're saving a lot of money on salaries, since nobody here is taking any money.
Yeah, well, Eddie, there still are other people to cast, and good ones. There's a fiancé, for instance. Mr. Harriman, of course. It's not going to be easy trying to find someone to play the devil himself.
I'm not so sure you shouldn't be trying to cast the part of Patience, too.
Oh.
Daddy, I'm terrified at the thought of getting in front of a camera.
Paige, you will be terrific. I just can't wait to see you in a hoop skirt.
You'll be great, Paige. You and Nola both. You know, the more I read this script, the greater I think you two are going to be.
Miss Innocent and the Wicked Old Witch.
Eddie, listen, are you sure that we're not going to run into any lawsuits over this screenplay? Now, I know you own the rights, but the author did actually get the material from an autobiography, and that worries me.
But it was an unpublished autobiography, Owen. That's the whole difference. You see, you can't copyright real life, fortunately.
No, but you can be sued by real people if you expose them to ridicule.
Well, darling, the people in this manuscript have been dead for over 100 years. Isn't that what you said, Eddie?
Yeah, they're all dead. Yeah. At least I hope they are.
Oh, I wish I could have read the original manuscript. The one the author found in that attic. That's how it happened, you know. He was visiting some maiden aunt who owned an old house in Salem.
Well, where is the original manuscript?
Well, it was burned, you know. Actually, the wife of the author burned it. Well, she and Don were having marital difficulties while he was working on the project, and, well, too bad because, well, they'd been happily married for 19, 20 years, and then, well, you know, it was only a couple of weeks after that that Don was killed when he was thrown from that horse.
You said it was a very gentle horse, Eddie, remember?
Well, that was the story. That was the kind of a horse they let little kids ride, but sure threw poor Don that day.
You know, there's one legend that says the devil can take the form of an animal, particularly a horse.
Who knows? Maybe the devil doesn't want us to make this movie.
He's probably seen the bottom line, that's why.
Well, you remember what happened when they tried to make Mansion of the Dam before? Twice, as a matter of fact. Both leading ladies died.
Mom, I'm not sure I like this kind of talk.
Brian, they died of perfectly natural causes.
Well, maybe so, but just the same, I wouldn't count on getting me insured during this production, darling.
Well, I think Brian's right. All this talk about Jinx is absolutely foolish.
Oh, what's the matter with everyone? You mustn't take it so seriously. I think it's terribly exciting, making a movie with a curse on it.
Well, maybe it's the spirit of the witch, Hester Atherton herself. Maybe she's angry because that book about her wasn't published. And now we've stolen her story.
Well, she's probably just some demented old bat who could have used a couple of hours in the psychiatrist's couch.
Well, I still think the curse came from the devil. Maybe the foul fiend doesn't want anyone to know this story, since Hester Atherton beat him at his own game. You can't beat the devil and get away with it, can you?
Gee, Mr. Guthrie, I'm sorry I'm late, but the weather.
Take your coat off before you drown, Jimmy.
Yeah. Boy, and it's raining cats and dogs out there. Boy, I bet you're glad you don't have to go out there anymore. Hey, remember when you were on the force? Remember that time I met you down at the pier?
Hey, listen, Jimmy, cut the nostalgia, all right? Just give me the information you want.
Sure. Anything you say, Mr. Guthrie.
You want some coffee or something?
No. I ain't got the time. I got to meet a guy in a half hour. No time.
All right, let's get on with it then.
That's it, Mr. Guthrie. Just like the old days,
Hey, what did I just tell you? No nostalgia.
Sure, whatever you say. I got what you wanted me to find out about the piece. It's registration number D998074, 32 Colt. First owner was Barry Lyons. He's the owner of the liquor store. And the second one was Willie Rome.
Second owner? You mean the guy who robbed the liquor store?
Yeah. No, I don't know anything about the liquor store. Now, Willie had the piece next, and then he sold it to another guy.
Okay, the other guy. That's what I want to know. His name.
His name was Dials, you know, like radio dials.
Jimmy, the first name. What the hell you think I'm paying you for?
I don't know nothing about his first name.
What?
Hey,
Jimmy, what the hell do you think I asked you for?
Hey, Mr. Guthrie, come on, I'm telling you, I don't know nothing about his first name. All I know is that his name was Dials and that he was just a kid.
A kid?
Yeah, you know, 14, 15 years old.
Okay, thanks, Jimmy. That's all I wanted to know. That's all I wanted to know. Finish the coffee.
Hey, look. Hey, Mr. Guthrie, you know, I don't know nothing about that liquor store.
What liquor store, Jimmy, huh?
Hey.
It's not so easy getting the hang of these things. You have to remember not to rest your underarms on top of them. That's the big secret.
Oh, I remember all right. I got shot in the leg once, you know.
Oh, yeah, you did?
Sure.
When was that?
Oh, a long time ago. Long before you were on the force, about 10 years ago, Calvin.
Well, welcome to the club. Did you have to use these things?
I sure did for a couple of months. And you're right, you know. Not as easy as it looks.
No.
Anyway, I think you've had enough practice for one morning.
Actually, couldn't agree with
Let
you
me
more.
take this.
Yeah, but don't let me get you wrong. This leg of mine is gonna be just fine. It's probably gonna be better than new now that I've got all this new hardware in it.
Bionic cop, huh?
Yeah, and I'm gonna be ready for duty just as soon as they let me out of here, which shouldn't be more than another week from what they tell me.
Calvin, I had a little talk with your doctor. Now, he tells me that you're going to be as good as new, but it's going to take a couple of months. Right now, you're not fit for active duty.
Oh, come on, Chief. Don't do this to me. Look, I mean, think about Deborah. She used to be one of the three musketeers, and now she's out there all by herself.
No, she's not by herself. Matter of fact, she's out on an assignment now with Harvey Emerson. Out in Graham County, they're covering a homicide.
Harvey Emerson? Yeah. Come on, Chief. Those two are never going to get along. You know that.
That's only a temporary assignment, just like yours is going to be.
Oh, then I will get an assignment.
Well, of course. You don't think I'll let you sit around doing nothing. You're going to get an assignment. Behind a desk.
Oh, no. Give me a break. I'll never live that down.
What's wrong with that, Calvin? I spend most of my time behind a desk.
Yeah, but that's different. You're the chief.
And the chief needs a deputy.
Yeah, but I don't want to push papers around. I mean, that's not the kind... What did you say?
I said the chief needs a deputy. I haven't had one worth a tin nickel since Luke Chandler took himself out to Chicago. So I figured it was time that I tried somebody else. Somebody who can use his head as well as a gun.
Well, imagine me right up in the front office.
Only until you're well enough to get back on the street, Calvin.
I'll be a son of a gun.
Steve. There you are, Chief. Hey, Calvin. Hey. I called over at headquarters. They said I could find you over here.
Yeah, I stopped by to talk to Calvin about job prospects.
Well, I got some information you might be interested in.
What's that?
It's about that gun.
Dial's gun?
Yeah. I can save you some time trying to track down its history. I found out who robbed the liquor store, only I can't give you any proof to back it up.
Who was it?
A small-time hood named Rome. Willie Rome.
Willie Rome? Well, I know that punk. As a matter of fact, he's under indictment right now on a larceny charge. This guy's got enough counts against him to fill up a yellow sheet.
Hey, what were you two talking about?
Calvin, an old stoolie friend of mine, told me that Willie sold the gun to a guy named Dials.
Well, we knew that.
Well, we know that the gun was registered to Mickey Dials. But the actual purchase was made by a kid. A 14-year-old kid.
What? You mean Joey, his little brother?
Yeah, well, Mickey could claim that Joey bought the gun for him, but I know different. I know exactly what Mickey did. He took an old toy gun and substituted it for the real thing. I know that for sure now.
Well, then that means that you didn't shoot a kid who just had a cap pistol.
Yeah. How about that?
How about that? How do you feel about it now that you know the truth?
Steve, I still have your badge. In the top drawer of my desk.
What is this doing here?
Logan and I were drinking that. We were just celebrating his first campaign tour.
This bottle is still chilled.
Is it?
Still not tidying up after Logan, I see.
Geraldine, I told you I don't feel very well.
This doesn't look like one of Logan's coats.
Well, it is.
Raven, is there something burning in your bedroom?
No, Geraldine, you can't go in there.
Oh, my God.
Good evening, Mr. Saxon. I thought it would be gauche of me to hide in the closet.
I rather wish you had.
Geraldine, look, you don't understand.
No, you're wrong, Raven. I understand perfectly.
So what are you gonna do?
hotel. Good morning.
May I please speak to Mr. Logan Swift? I'm sorry, I don't know his room number.
What was that name again?
Logan Swift. He's with the political group that arrived there sometime yesterday.
One moment, please. Hello?
Yes.
I'm sorry, but Mr. Swift seems to have left the hotel.
Oh. Do you know what time he'll be back?
No, ma'am. He didn't say when he checked out.
Checked out? Do you mean he's left the hotel, but I thought they were to be there for the next 2 days.
Yes, the rest of Mr. Swift's party is still here, but he seems to have had some kind of emergency at home, and he's returned there.
Do you mean that he's gone back to Monticello?
Yes, ma'am, that seems to be the case.
Good Lord.
Pardon me?
Oh, I'm so sorry. No, nothing at all, and thank you very much.
Your husband's a big man.
What?
His robe fits me perfectly.
Wish you wouldn't wear that thing. It makes me feel like he's in the room.
In more ways than one, most likely.
What?
Well, I'm sure your husband usually prepared his own breakfast, too.
Sure he did. I had to take care of Jamie. What are you doing? Are you making coffee?
It's almost ready.
I don't believe this. This is like we're married, only you're standing there instead of Logan. Take me away from here. Take me anywhere. I don't care. Let's go to a cabin in the mountains. Let's go to a hotel in the city. Let's go to a motel. I don't care. Just take me somewhere away from here, okay?
How about your husband, baby? You're supposed to be sick, remember?
Yeah, well, I'll tell him something. I'll tell him that I got better. Not well enough to go on the tour, but that I need a couple of days in the country.
You really think you can get away with everything, don't you?
Yes. Did you? Oh, God, I have to tell you how I managed to convince Logan that I had a fever.
How'd you want your coffee?
Cream and sugar. This is the best. And then you'll have plenty of time, okay?
Seems as though a harmony is hard to find, always on our mind, and frustrated days pass without sight, the edge of night, half dark, half light, as we watch our hearts.
Elliot, you've got to get out of here.
Get right out. What time is Logan's plane getting?
I haven't the vaguest idea.
I haven't had more than a sip of my coffee.
Oh, well, that's just too bad, honey. You've got to get out of here real fast.
Hey, listen, what am I going to do for the rest of the week? I told Margaret I was away on a fishing trip.
Look, I don't know. I'll just have to tell him that I feel a little better, but not well enough to go on the trip with him, and then he can go back and make his speeches, and we can have some more fun, okay?
Oh, my God, Aunt Tommy, is he already?
He can't be. He can't be here. Look, he doesn't have a key. He gave the key to Geraldine, so, I'll just pretend that I don't hear him, and then he'll have to go back to her hotel in order to get the key, and then you'll have some time to get ready. Hello. This is a surprise.
Yeah. Certainly is. I guess it shouldn't be, but it's quite a surprise.
Hello, darling. Well, how are you? Wait a minute. Don't look so stricken. I mean, you're not getting the wrong idea about this.
Wrong idea? About what exactly?
Well, look, I know how it looks. Mr. Dorn is here awfully early. Well, that's not really that early. Do you have the time, Mr. Dorn?
Mr. Dorn seems to have the time and the place.
I think it's time for me to be leaving. Well, thank you for the coffee, Mrs. Swift. I really appreciate it.
Mrs. Swift. We're all a little formal, aren't we, Mrs. Swift and Mr. Dorn? I mean, I thought we got to be good friends up in Palace Park. That is where we got to be such good friends, isn't it, Raven?
Oh, that's right. That's why Elliot came over here to say hello to the both of us.
Yes, and I was very surprised and disappointed to find that you were not here, Logan.
Oh, me too. I wish I'd have been here to greet you when you arrived. Well, I guess you're feeling a lot better, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, I am. It was a terrible night. The fever was just burning me all night, but I guess I sweated it out. You know how fevers are.
They just go so far, and then they break.
Yeah, but you know, I was amazed how good I felt this morning. And then the doorbell rang, and Mr. Elliot was here.
Yeah.
No, actually, you called me, didn't you?
Yes, that's right. I was on my way up north when on a fishing trip when I stopped at the coffee shop to have some breakfast. That's when I realized that who should live around the corner but Mr. and Mrs. Swift, and I thought,
Around
why?
the corner? Well, that's good news. I didn't know they'd opened a coffee shop there. I always hoped that they would.
Well, I didn't mean literally around the corner.
All right,
Mrs.
for
Swift.
heaven's sake, will you just stop standing there like an idiot and tell me what you're thinking? You're thinking that something was going on here, right? Well, you're wrong. You're very wrong. And I think that it's a very nasty, suspicious attitude to have because he was just being polite. He called me up, and I told him I was not feeling well, and he came over to help me feel a little better.
Just like Geraldine did last night.
I knew it! She did call you. She just had to spread her nasty little lies. Meddling old witch.
I'm sorry, but I think under the circumstances, I'd better go. Once again, thank you very much for the coffee, Raven. And good luck on your campaign trip, Logan. All the luck in the world.
Get out of here.
Okay. What's the story? Has she been telling you lies about last night?
Last night? I thought your visitor arrived this morning.
She hates me, Logan. You know that. She hates me ever since I married her precious little son. She's always wanted to get back at me because of what happened between us.
Geraldine didn't tell me one word about him. All we talked about was your health. I asked her to come over here and make sure you weren't on your death.
She was lying to you. She knew that this was the perfect opportunity to get me back.
Just
because
shut
of
up
what
about
happened
Geraldine,
between
will you?
Kevin and I.
Anything that happened here is your doing. And you're not going to lie your way out of this.
Logan, I love you. I mean, you're being ridiculous. You're the only man in my life. You know that.
Just thank God you had the decency to get Jamie over to the Scots before you started on your little party here.
I did not have a party. I was sick. I spent the whole night in there with a fever, and you know because you took my temperature.
Yeah. According to this, your coffee is getting cold. I'm leaving.
Where are you going?
I'm going to check on Jamie. I'm going to make sure he's all right.
Yeah, right. That's all you care about. You care more about the damn kid than you do me. Tell me something. Just how do you expect me to be faithful to somebody
who needs a baby more than he needs his own wife. And you can give me a little kiss.
Toast up. Here, let's get some breakfast in you. Num, num, num. Good morning. Want some coffee? I'll fix you some cereal. Oh, one look at you, boy. You could really use some coffee to wake you up. Come on, Jamie.
Not only did I get in late, I stayed up till 2 o'clock this morning working on that brief.
Draper,
The
why
brief
did you-
had to be ready this afternoon. The question is, am I going to be ready?
Draper, you should have gone to bed last night. I told you last night, the one thing you owe your clients is at least to be alert.
Yeah, well, it was my choice to work late. You gotta be thankful. At least you don't hear me complaining anymore about your long hours.
Look, Draper, if you insist on working this hard just to pay Margot back, you are going to give yourself a nervous breakdown.
My nerves are going to be fine. The minute I can hand Margot a check for $35,000, I'm going to be steady as a rock.
I'll get it, Nancy. Hello?
Mr. Carr.
Yes, who's this?
Philip Seward, Mr. Carr. Were you rushing to the office?
No, Mr. Seward. I don't plan to leave for about an hour. Are you in Monticello?
Yes, I am, just as I said I would be. As a matter of fact, I was rather hoping we could meet today.
Well, my schedule's a bit rough today. I have to be in court until at least 3 o'clock, and then I have a meeting with another client. Would this evening be all right?
Well, no, I have to get a 5 p.m. flight back to New York. Listen, what about right now? Do you have a few minutes? I'm not far from your house.
Yes, that would be all right.
I really would like to get your opinion about this situation.
About why Draper Scott's not going to New York also. I'll be right over. I'll try not to keep either of you from your jobs very long. As I wrote you in my letter, I'm still very disturbed about what happened in New York.
Well, I can assure you, so is Draper.
Yes, I'm sure that's true. I feel very guilty about the whole thing. Not because I proposed the idea to Draper. I mean, I still believe I did the right thing.
You proved you had a good eye for legal talent, Mr. Seward.
But I also did something else, Mr. Carr. Something that I'm not very proud of. The night before Draper returned to Monticello, I went to his hotel room. I practically handed him the job. I told him there was virtually no doubt but that it was his.
But you were premature.
I'm afraid so.
You mentioned that only one of the partners refused to approve his hiring. Is that correct?
That is correct. One person, David Henson, senior partner, highly regarded, and for some reason, David turns thumbs down on your friend Draper.
Do you have any idea why?
Well, of course, we asked David what his objections were. He said that he had made some inquiries on his own about the young man, and that the facts that he had discovered disturbed him.
Do you know what those facts were?
Well, here David gets a little vague. He talked about youth, inexperience, but also about a tendency to rash decisions, callow behavior.
Oh, for goodness sakes, that's ridiculous. They aren't facts, that's opinion, and wrong opinion. Oh, how could he get those ideas? He doesn't even know Draper.
Nancy, Mr. Seward, I agree with my wife. I've worked closely with Draper now for 3 years, and I don't believe that any of those charges are justified.
No, I know they have no standing as fact. They are opinion. But obviously the opinion of someone that David Henson trusted. Yes. You're asking the question that I asked. Who? Who would say all those negative things about Draper Scott?
You mentioned in your letter that Mr. Henson was acquainted with Margot Huntington.
Margot Huntington was a major client of David's around a decade ago. And from what I understand, they were also very close personal friends.
You do know now that she's Draper's mother-in-law.
Well, I know since I had the talk with David. Frankly, Mrs. Carr, I have come to think
that the only person that could have made those statements is Miss Huntington.
Mrs. Dorn, now, actually.
It's incredible that she could do something like that.
Yes, I thought it was incredible, too. Well, you might as well know the rest of it. At the hospital where David was recuperating, there's a very gossipy nurse. She informed me that David had placed calls to Monticello and to a Mrs. Dorn.
Good Lord.
And that's why I was hoping you could enlighten me. You see, I don't know the woman. I don't know her relationship to Draper. But can you tell me, is there any reason why Mrs. Dorn would want to hurt her son-in-law?
Well, I still think it's funny. Lightning striking just as we're talking about devils and all that.
You didn't look too amused when it happened.
I was scared. Who isn't scared of lightning and devils, for that matter?
Dad tells me that tree's been hit before.
I didn't know lightning struck the same place twice.
That's just a myth, kiddo. Lightning just loves to strike the same place.
Ah, well, maybe the curse of the movie will strike again, too.
You don't really believe that nonsense, do you, Kate?
Of course not. It's the same old Hollywood hype we grew up surrounded by, Brian. Remember?
Yeah, who could forget it?
You know, your mother is so into the melodrama of this thing. I mean, the witch's curse and the devils and all that.
I don't believe she really made a joke about the fact that those two leading ladies died trying to make this film.
Well, what about the cameraman and the grips and the screenwriter? You'll never get a full death toll on this picture.
You really think this is funny, don't you, Paige?
Well, I'm not going to take it seriously, especially if I'm going to do a part in the movie.
Wonder if that's such a hot idea.
Well, I thought you wanted me to be a star of the silver screen.
Yeah, Paige, I do, but you know, you've just been through a pretty tough ordeal here. I mean, there have been people out there trying to kill you. You're very courageous. You're lucky you're not weaving baskets in some padded cell right now.
Hey, I'm tougher than I look. About some things. About other things, I'm just an old softy.
Paige, there's something that I have to talk to you about.
It's not Mansion of the Damned, is it?
Well, it's about this mansion and this family and us.
I keep forgetting we don't have a maid. Oh, hi, Chief. Come on in.
Thank you. I know that you consider this police case to be closed, but...
Brian, this is Chief Marceau. Chief Marceau, this is my brother, Brian Madison.
So it's very nice to finally meet you. What were you saying about a police case?
I was just saying that, as far as we're concerned, the police consider this case to be definitely open.
You know, Chief, that's just what I was telling Paige. I think it was wrong for her to let her bodyguard go so soon, don't you?
Brian, there was nothing more for Steve to do. My last assassin is dead, I'm sure of it.
You're sure of that? And you're sure because somebody told you that? Somebody that you trust?
You mean Tobias, right, Chief?
That's right.
Chief Marceau, I am still convinced of Toby's complete innocence.
You feel that he was idealistically motivated rather than by money?
I'm sure of it.
And you don't believe the rebel spokesman who claimed that $1 million was paid for defective arms?
No, I don't. That was just a very bitter statement. Toby didn't make 1 cent on this deal, and I can't help anybody who's going to try to put him away, if that's what you came here to ask.
I was afraid that's how you would feel. As a matter of fact, Steve told me that's what I should expect. However, I must commend you on your loyalty.
Thank you.
But I deplore your judgment. That's really about all I have to say, except that you might be interested to know that Steve is back with us.
On the force?
Yes.
Hmm.
He's taken his badge back. I'm very glad about that.
So am I. A happy ending. They shouldn't only happen in movies.
Yeah, who is it? Hey, Vicky, it's Elliot. I'm glad you're home. I'm sorry to barge in on you like this, but I'm really out of my wits on what to do with myself. Oh. What do you mean? Hey, it's kind of hard to explain. I don't have a place to stay. I can't go home, seeing my wife thinks I'm on a fishing trip.
Well, where are you supposed to be, Mr. Dorn? I mean, where were you?
Well, you see, I was at a friend's place, Mickey. A friend whose husband decided to drop in, if you get the picture.
Yeah, I think I get it.
So I was wondering if maybe you could put me up for a few days until I get a chance to think what... Hey, I'm getting a strange picture myself. You going someplace?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I'm leaving Monticello for good.
You're what?
Yeah, look, I was going to call and tell you I was quitting and all that, but, you know, I just thought it was a good time to split.
I'm sorry to hear that, Mickey. I thought you were happy at the Unicorn.
Well, I was happy, but, like I said, I'm a restless guy, and, I just figured it's time to move on.
I see.
Look, I'd be happy to let you have this place, but the landlady has rented it out right after I told her I was leaving.
Well, I think there's nothing left for me to do but to go home.
Breakfast was delicious. I'm exhausted.
Honey, I've got to get going.
Oh, okay. Listen, would you please promise me that you will not work late tonight?
I'll try. I
Thank
don't know if I'll get that.
Was it Draper?
Hello?
It's the front door.
Oh. Logan. What the hell are you doing here?
Come in?
Yeah, sure.
I just wanted to check on Jamie. Is he all right?
Yeah, he's fine. I thought you were up in the boonies making speeches.
No,
Yeah, go on in.
I made my one and only speech for
Hello,
today.
Logan.
How you doing, Tiger?
What's going on? What are you doing here? Where's Raven? Is she sick?
No, she's all right. It's just I'm back in Monticello. I thought I'd come over and pick up my little boy.
You're not going to do anything of the kind. You're not going to take my child anywhere, Logan Swift.
Now, what the hell is going on here?
No, I mean, what happened? You two were supposed to be away for a week. We decided to call it off. We decided to call everything off.
Now, look, if you're having some sort of quarrel, maybe
no,
we...
it's not a quarrel. I'm sorry. And you know what I'm sorry for. But now we got to think about Jamie. As long as we're both here, he belongs with us.
Hey, what about me, too? I mean, remember me? I'm the one who took some time off from work to take care of
Don't
the
worry,
kid.
April. That's exactly what you're going to do because Jamie is going to stay right here.
That's not necessary
That's
anymore.
what I want, and that's what I'm going to do, and I can do anything I want because Jamie is my child. You understand? He's my child, Logan, not yours.
Now, hold it. Why don't we all sit down and talk this over?
There's nothing to discuss. You're both lawyers. You know my legal rights.
Don't you be stupid about this. And for God's sake, we don't have to argue in front of them and in front of Jamie.
You don't want to argue, you can leave. But Jamie stays here.
We'll see about that.
And you can just tear up the adoption papers. Do you hear me? Because you're not going to adopt my son. So you just tear him up, Logan. You can't have Jamie.
Chief, I'd really appreciate your staying in touch.
Well, I'll be on vacation for a while, Brian, but if you need anything, feel free to contact my office and talk to my new deputy, Calvin Stoner.
Terrific. Let me show you to the door.
Sure.
Hello.
Paige, it's Mickey.
Yes, hello.
Paige, I've got to see you. It's really important. I've got to see you today.
I don't know if I got the time.
Listen, you've got to make the time. This could be my last night in Monticello. My address is 63 Fremont Street, 3rd floor. Can you remember that?
Yeah, I've got it.
I'll wait for you,